7 o'clock, we'll go ahead and welcome everybody to the May 5th, 2025 Jenkins City Council meeting. Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Ernestine.
Here.
Chuck. Sean.
Here.
Rick.
Here.
Quinn.
Here.
Garth.
Here. All ready. You around, Will? Say the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. The minutes in the packet. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Having a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Also, got the financial report in the packet.
I'll make a motion we accept it as presented. I'll second.
Having a motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Alrighty, we're already down to Jennifer Craft.
As you can tell, we're trying to go ahead and get your projects underway. So, as I reported last time, we got your memorandum of agreement for your CD, or your community development block grant, disaster recovery grants for the Grandview, which is the water and sewer infrastructure, and then the wastewater treatment plant improvements, and then it's for a plan for revitalization and resiliency. So we're going to try to go ahead and get everything done on our end. We've started the environmentals for the Grandview and the wastewater treatment plant. The plan does not have to have an environmental, so we're just going to try to get everything started for it so that we can get your consultant hired for the plan. So, but we're just trying to get everything underway, so that's why you have so many things underneath. So, and if there's any other projects you want me to kind of highlight, I can, or answer questions on, but those three, we're just trying to go ahead and get underway.
And I want to just ask, I looked here on the Jenkins City Park renovations, we have wrote a grants and just waiting to hear back to upgrade our parks and things like that.
Yes, everything is at the National Park up in Washington, just waiting to be approved on that. So hopefully we'll get through something on that. Those National Park Service grants do take a long time to get through. It usually takes about a year to get approval. Then once you get approval, it usually takes about another year for them to get through all their paperwork, and then you're into the year of construction. So we're actually at year 2 now, so hopefully we'll...
It was just a process of getting to...
It is. So hopefully we'll be getting that approval to actually go to construction pretty soon on that.
Thank you.
So.
Now, that is for the renovations of the Jenkins City Park. As soon as that is over, we're going to apply for land water for the park, kids' park up on Lakeside. And then we're going to have some meetings to talk to people about what they like to see and what we actually need as far as that is. But once you have to close one out before you apply for another. Now, those grants are a 50-50 match, so it takes matching money. But hopefully the grants program will that work for that, for land water? The grants.
Yes,
Okay.
You can apply to get your match money from that grant program now, so.
So as soon as we close this out, we worked on this for years, and we finally got the notice of funding last year, so we're into the next year getting it done. So, but that's new roofs and LED lighting and some blacktop around the park and just general upgrades for the park. So we're hoping to get started on that before too long, once we get the approval from them. Alrighty, in your packet we've got the pay requisition certificate number 3 for the elevator ADA improvement project. It's for $15,246. And now here's where I want Jennifer to help us talk about, continuing on our Grants 101 discussion from last time, how the process is from here out. So just like where we're at with this one, we got the notice of funding, we walked through all the hoops and stuff we had to do. So now that money, we do a pay requisition, it goes to DLG, they send us the money, and forever how long it takes to stay in the bank till we can pay out to the engineers or contractors. So
So we will, if you all choose to approve this tonight, we will send this in. So being that this is the 5th day of the month, we usually have to have them in. This one will actually go in for the 18th. They do 2 draws a month. So this one will actually not come in until the end of the month. Once it actually comes in at the end of the month, you'll have 5 days to get it out of your bank account. So we'll let you know. They usually send a notice or something to that effect saying, it's coming in. You have 5 days once it actually goes into your bank account to pay that out. That's why it's critical to approve these and get them sent in timely fashion and things of that nature. So we do progress meetings, and there was actually a progress meeting today. And I apologize, I was not in that progress meeting. I had some other things going on. But Donna Stacy, who will actually be here next month, she's actually attending a training, so she could not come tonight with me. She will be here, and you'll get to meet her. But she is the project administrator for this project. She is overseeing it, so we make sure on our end that everything runs smooth with all the financials, things of that nature. If there's any issues going on, we make sure that the engineer's doing their job, we make sure the contractor's doing their job. We kind of oversee it from that whole financial aspect. The engineer oversees it from that contractor aspect. So you get a lot of balance and checks once the project goes into construction. You make sure that all your money's being spent correctly, your project's being done. You should have a resident observer here from the engineer to make sure that the contractor's doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. So once you go to construction, you have so many days under that contract that they have to actually get it done. If there's any issues, then we appraise the mayor of what those issues are, and then he can let you all know what the issues are with it. Right now, this one's going fairly smooth. We do have some issues.
With Baba.
Yeah, with Baba.
Buy American, build American.
Yeah. So there is an issue with, I think there's one part with the elevator that we're trying to make sure that we can give. So we are having some issues with that, but we're trying to work through that issue. So there, but this is how this project works and goes through to make sure that everything, you end up with a very nice project at the end. That your grant funds are spent correctly the way that they're supposed to, because that memorandum of agreement, what we call an MOA, outlays everything that's supposed to be done. When we write that grant, we say exactly what we're going to do, then that memorandum of agreement comes back and says, you're to do this, 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 and this. And then between the engineer and CRAD, we make sure that this, and this actually occurs. So that way, when at the end of the grant, you're audited, because you do get audited, everybody makes sure that that money was spent accurately and according to how it was supposed to be. You don't get any findings, so.
Should we approve this, though? If we approve this, we don't get that money, we're still liable for this, right?
No, this work's been done, certified by the engineers and the resident observer. And what we do is we draw down, so once we get to 12%, we turn in 12% of the contract.
So the money's there to cover this?
Yeah, the draw will be there, so it's nothing we have to worry about being in jeopardy of that part of it. The point I wanted to make is once we get the big blue check, is that we have to go through all these steps to get a piece of that money into our bank account in turn to send it right back out for that piece of work that's been done, that percentage.
At this point, you're liable because he's done the work.
But the money's there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, just wanting people to understand how it works and what we do. And once we get the notice of funding, which is actually the big blue check, that amount of money never hits our bank. We have to piece it out as it goes, and as we complete the work, meet all the requirements, that amount of money comes into that checking account or another checking account, depending on whatever our vendor number is, and then we're able to write the check straight back out to it. So, when you see the big blue check and all that money, it never actually comes to us, but it's a notice of funding that we're allowed to use that money for that project and draw down on those pieces. So, just want people to understand that. That way, they got a little better understanding, and they can go back and watch YouTube, the big blue check, first one, as far as everything it takes to get up to this process. So I just want to highlight that within this process, this is where we're at with it. So entertain a motion to approve pay requisition number 3.
Well, is the project still, is it ongoing or is it on hold for the
No, it's
moment?
ongoing.
Yeah, it's
Your money
ongoing.
is-
So that's not stopped yet?
No.
It's not stopped it. The elevator that was spec'd out was getting up to 51% for Buy American, Build American to be certified. And they wasn't comfortable in saying that it could be, but there's another elevator company that can, and it fits. The reason we were waiting back here is once we lay up all that masonry to fit that one elevator, that would have been it. So we were sort of holding off, but they're going to start because of the elevator.
Might have to change it, yeah.
Yeah, they'll fit in it. This one has different mounts on it, but it's a type of elevator they're using. It crawls up the walls. I don't know how it does it, but anyway.
They just had to find a different type
Yeah.
that would fit that Build America, Buy America.
So they should be starting next week on the masonry.
I make a motion, we approve requisition.
I'll second.
All right, having a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. All right, thank
And he
you.
is moving very smooth and very.
Yeah, we've got a great contractor too.
Yeah, you have to have a really good contractor.
What did you say that lady's name was? It was when
Donna Stacy.
Stacy? Okay.
All right, let me see if I can hit on the ERCS. Did they send anything?
No, Susan, no.
Okay. Yeah, one thing with the ERCS, the National Conservation Resource Service made a visit, and we looked at some places in the streams and for some erosion, some other different pieces that we're trying to apply for some emergency money to work on. And Susan, the one that's been representing us, has been ill, and we've got a new girl named Erin, and she's getting started. I mean, we're making all of our meetings and doing everything we need to do with FEMA, but we're just a little bit behind on that one. All right, Randall, we're down to budget ordinance number 264, first reading.
Budget ordinance 264, first reading of an ordinance for the city of Jenkins, Kentucky annual budget for the fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, estimating revenue and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of the city government, whereas an annual budget proposal and message has been prepared and delivered to the city council on May 5th, 2025, and whereas the city council will review such budget proposals and make necessary modifications, now therefore be it ordained by the city of Jenkins, section 1, that the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026 is hereby read as follows. General funds, revenue and expenses, $1,892,775. LGEA fund, revenue and expenses, $65,085. Road fund and revenue and expenses, $44,464. Water funds, revenue and expenses, $631,000. Sewer funds, revenue and expenses, $327,000. Solid waste revenue and expenses, $288,000. Total budget, $3,248,324. First reading, May 5th, 2025. Second reading, June 2nd, 2025. Secretary Line Mayor, City of Jenkins. Budget summary available for public inspection. All interested persons are hereby notified that a summary of the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget of the City of Jenkins, including the intended uses of local government economic assistance funds, is available for public inspection. The budget summary and documentation necessary to support the summary are available for public inspection at the City of Jenkins City Clerk's Office from 8 o'clock a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Monday through Friday. Long line budget attached.
That's first reading and for y'all to review. As far as the budget message, Kentucky revised statutes set forth requirements, certain guidelines for financial administration of the fiscal affairs of cities in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. and KRS 91A.00 to 91A.060.83. Specifically address requirements of financial administration and fiscal responsibility. Proposed budget is balanced in terms of revenue and expenditures as well as delivery of essential services. That said, it's important to acknowledge that the recent flooding disasters have put a strain on our resources. We've had to respond quickly with local match funding for grants and FEMA assistance, which has stretched the budget even thinner. As a result, the budget offers very little to no margin of unforeseen expenses or further disruptions. While we've done the best to prioritize essential services, we know there are still big needs that our city has. We are actively looking for other funding sources and support to help us move forward. In closing, I want to thank the council for continued cooperation and dedication throughout this process. I look forward to working together as you deliberate and make decisions on behalf of our community. And one thing I'd add is something that we've never really done, but we need to look forward to in the future, is being able to add capital expenses, being able to put money back for so many years to buy a new garbage truck, because, talking about the grants not coming through, that's probably going to catch us somewhere. Now, I'm hopeful with the new houses built, and we'll build some tax base and be able to work some stuff in, but we're going to have to take a hard look at equipment and being able to buy pumps over time at the water plant and police cruisers and other things that the grants is probably not going to show up for, because we've always been fortunate before is when we've needed something, we've had a grant and been able to match the grant to be able to get it. So we'll be all right. We've cut back on employees in places where we could. We've got 2 people on the outside crew and 2 people on the parks crew, and we used to have 7 or 8. So, and we're working more part-time people, just not having to pay the benefits part of it to have somebody working. So,
Mayor, I'd like to, since we're talking about budget, and everybody knows, I think it's so council and even yourself know how I feel about taxes. We've lowered taxes when we could twice in the past 6.5 years, but I think there's something we need to look at, and I've just been looking at other cities and where they're at on occupational taxes. And I know it's a bad word when you say anything in Jenkins to raise taxes, but I think it's something, we're sitting at 1.5 now. It's just something I want to throw out, it's nothing, whatever. But 2% occupational tax, I've been paying for 20 years. With inflation and everything going up, at some point, and you guys know me, I'm not a big tax person, but I think it's something we need to look at. I think it's something we might need to look at, going from 1.5 to 2%. Just something in the future we need to look at and gain some extra money, because like you said, we're a garbage truck away from not having, and it's just something we need to start thinking about. Like I said, it's nothing, I'm not a guy that sit here and pushes raise taxes, but I think 1.5 to 2% would kind of start putting us back in line with everybody. So that's just something I'm saying for revenue coming in that we need to start looking at and thinking about.
we sit where we sit, and every year the costs of increases. Our health insurance is going up 12%. There's just different things. Every year stuff goes up, and we've been fortunate. We really have. We worked hard to manage what we've got, take care of the vehicles we got. We're working, doing maintenance on Saturdays, just trying to keep stuff running. But it's probably going to catch us, because if we don't have CDBG community facilities grants to be able to buy the police car or the next garbage truck or whatever, we'll need to look at putting some money back in the capital expenses side of it.
And why I say occupational tax, you're not hitting I know the people working within Jenkins, you're hit, and I get it, it's never good, but it's a better to me in that way, instead of raising property or vehicles, we're not hitting everybody in Jenkins. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of, it sucks if you work here, but.
Well, it's sharing the burden of the services, and that's the way we looked at it when they actually passed it the first time, is instead of it being on the property owners' backs, it helps the people that's working here during the day to have police protection, to have the fire department, and be able to have the road straight. But that's something we're going to look at when we talk about going to having a budget workshop. And then that way we can look at, because we've got some other ideas, a little here, a little here, a little here, and probably get enough of the gap stopped to where we can keep operating and not face that cliff when it actually comes. All right, municipal road aid co-op resolution.
Well, we're getting into a number of resolutions. We have 19 resolutions to read tonight. I wanted to mention our approach here. We're going to, essentially, these resolutions are tied to 3 programs: the CDBG Revitalization and Resiliency Planning, a CDBG Grandview Project, and CDBG WWTP improvements. And so those are the 3 projects we're dealing with tonight. And each one has its own set of identical resolutions, except for the particular program. So with council's approval, we have grouped these so that I can read one as an example, but it will stand good for all 3 projects, even though each one has its separate resolution. So that'll narrow down my reading to maybe, 7 or 8 instead of 19. So that's my strong suggestion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. All right. So our first resolution is 5501, resolution adopting and approving the execution of a municipal aid co-op program contract between the Incorporated City and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Department of Rural and Municipal Aid for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025, as provided in the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and accepting all streets referred to therein as being streets which are a part of the Incorporated City. Be it resolved by the legislative body of the Incorporated City that the legislative body of the Incorporated City does hereby accept all streets referred to in said contract as being city streets, which are a part of the Incorporated City. And the legislative body of the Incorporated City does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract, and does hereby accept said contract, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated. And the Chief Executive Officer of said Incorporated City is hereby authorized and directed to sign said contract as set forth on behalf of the legislative body of the city, and the city clerk of Jenkins is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto. Vote taken on said resolution, the results being as follows: the column ayes and the column nays. Commonwealth of Kentucky, Incorporated City of Jenkins. I blank, City Clerk of Jenkins, certify that foregoing is a true copy of the order given my hand and seal of office is blank day of blank 2025. Signed, Clerk.
Make a motion to pass resolution 5501.
I'll second it.
Already having a motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Resolution 50502 of the City of Jenkins authorizing the signing of contract for administrative services, Jenkins Grandview Infrastructure CDBG-DR project. Whereas the City of Jenkins, the quote city, close quotes, close friends, has been awarded funds through the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery, CDBG-DR, through the Department of Local Government, DLG, close friends. And whereas in order to properly administer the grant as required by DLG and CDBG-DR, proper loan and grant administration must be performed, and the city does not have the personnel trained in the administration of CDBG-DR funds. And whereas the Kentucky River Area Development District, quote, district, end quote, close friends, has employees that are trained by the state of Kentucky for the administration of the CDBG-DR funds, and the city wishes to contract with the district, and the district is willing to be contracted with. Now therefore, be it resolved this 5th day of May 2025 by the city of Jenkins, that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign the administrative contract and to enter said contract with the district. Vote taken as follows. City council listed, motion carried at the station clerk and central line mayor.
Alrighty, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I already have a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
All right, our next resolutions are 5503, 5504, and 5505. Our housing resolution, Grandview Infrastructure Project. Let it be known to all persons of the city of Jenkins that discrimination in the sale, rental, leasing, financing of housing or land to be used for construction of housing or in the provisions of brokerage service because of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin is prohibited by Title 8 of the 1968 Civil Rights Act, for instance, Federal Fair Housing Law, close friends. It is the policy of the city of Jenkins to implement programs to ensure equal opportunity in housing for all persons regardless of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. The Fair Housing Amendment Act of 1988 expanded coverage to include disabled persons and families with children, and HUD 2012 regulations expanded coverage to sexual orientation or gender identity. Therefore, the board does hereby pass the following resolution. Be it resolved that within the available resources, the board will assist all persons who feel they have been discriminated because of race, color, religion, sex or sexual orientation, gender identity, national origin, disability, or familiar status to seek equity under federal or state laws by filing a complaint with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity Compliance Division. Be it further resolved that the board shall publicize this resolution, and through this publicity shall encourage owners of real estate, developers, and builders to become aware of their respective responsibilities and rights under the federal fair housing law and amendments and any applicable state or local laws or ordinances. Said program will at a minimum include, for instance, 1, printing, publicizing of this policy and other applicable fair housing information through local media and community contacts, semicolon, prints. 2, distribution of posters, flyers, and any other items that will bring attention to those affected. The knowledge of their respective responsibilities and rights concerning equal opportunity in housing, and prints. 3, prepare an analysis of impediments to fair housing choices and actions to mitigate such impediments. Effective date, this resolution shall take effect on 1 May 2025 at the station clerk, Central Line Mayor.
Already, if I'm keeping up, that's 5503.
0304.
3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
They're all the same.
Well, I'd like to take a vote for each, so let's just,
Make a motion to pass 5503.
yeah.
I'll say it.
All right, having a motion second on 5503. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, same thing for 5504.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 5505.
I'll make a motion pass.
I'll second.
Having a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
All right, our next series of resolutions are 06, 07, and 08. Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan under Section 44(d) of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. The city of Jenkins will replace all occupied and vacant occupied low/moderate income housing as a direct result of the activities assisted with funds provided under the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended and described in 24 CFR 570.496A, close brackets. All replacement housing will be provided within 3 years of the commencement of the demolition or rehabilitation related to conversion. Before obligating or expending funds that will directly result in the demolition or conversion, the city of Jenkins will make public and submit to the Department of Local Government the following information in writing. Number 1, a description of the proposed assisted activity. Number 2, the general location on a map and appropriate number of dwelling units by size, parentheses, number of bedrooms, close parentheses, that will be demolished or converted to a use other than low/moderate income dwelling units as a direct result of the assisted activity. 3, a time schedule for the commencement and completion of the demolition or conversion. 4, the general location on a map and the appropriate number of dwellings by unit size, parentheses, number of bedrooms, close parentheses, that will be provided as replacement dwelling units. 5, the source of funding and a time schedule for the provisions of replacement dwelling units. And 6, the basis for concluding that each replacement dwelling unit will remain a low/moderate income dwelling for at least 10 years from the date of initial occupancy. The city of Jenkins will provide relocation assistance as described in 570.494A, parentheses, each low/moderate income household displaced by the demolition of housing or by the conversion of a low/moderate income dwelling to another use as a direct result of the assisted activities. Consistent with the goals and objectives of activities assisted under the Act, the City of Jenkins will take the following steps to minimize the displacement of persons from their home. In caps, there will be no displacement as a direct result of this project. Signature line, Mayor, attestation, clerk, and date.
Make a motion to pass resolution 5506.
I'll second.
Having a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Now, 5507.
I'll make that motion.
Having a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Down to 8, which is a revitalization resiliency project.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Having a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign.
All right, our next series is Resolution 09 and 10. Resolution of the City of Jenkins authorizing commitment of coverage of cost overruns on a community development block grant / disaster recovery funded project, Jenkins Grandview Infrastructure Project. Whereas the City of Jenkins, parentheses, the quote city in quote close parentheses, will receive grant funds through the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program administered by the Department for Local Government, Commonwealth of Kentucky, as the basic federal agency. And whereas in order to properly satisfy the requirement of the Department for Local Government and the city is to provide for any cost of overruns associated with the project. And whereas the city desires that this project move forward in order that construction can be completed in a timely manner. Now therefore be it resolved this blank day of blank 2025 by the City of Jenkins that assurances is made to the Department for Local Government that the city will secure funding to cover any cost overruns associated with the aforementioned project. Signature line, Mayor, attestation, clerk.
Got a question about that one. That's gonna commit us to
Finding funds.
finding funds, yeah. Not taking out of our
That's, it says
general
secure
fund.
funding, so, the DR stuff, there's a little money left over in the DR project, so that if something comes above, we've quoted, well above what it should be. There should be room, but
I just recall a project in Virginia that went over budget by $60 million. Well,
we won't be here anymore. We won't be here anymore.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's,
Is there a limit, or just?
No,
Does that mean we just have to
it's more or less that we
request other funding?
we won't just let it stop there. We will find funds, Jennifer then will help us find funds, DLG will help us find funds to make sure that we finish the project out. So if it does go over, there's some ARC stuff laying out there too already for it, so. I wouldn't sign it if I wasn't comfortable that we couldn't find what we need to find, and it's a piece that we have to do to get this thing started.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, have a motion second on 5509. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. It also covers 5510.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, have a motion second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign.
And that would also include 5514 for cost overruns.
Is that the next?
You can
No.
vote on that one, I just read it. 5514.
It's down in the packet. It didn't put it.
Just go ahead and add that into this cost overrun series you're voting on.
Okay. Entertain a motion to do
I'll make a
5514.
motion.
I'll second.
Having a motion second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign.
That's just the wastewater treatment plant.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're just out of order. Your procurement code ones are out, but we just get around this.
All right, now, the next one, I'm not sure I have this in order. The Jenkins WWTP Improvement Project Resolution.
It should be the exhibit 4.
Oh, exhibit 4, okay. All right, 5513 is a resolution of the City of Jenkins accepting supplemental grant, approving the grant assistance agreement, grant or the grant supplemental assistance agreement is authorizing the amendment of the City of Jenkins annual budget, authorizing the representative to sign off related documents, whereas General Assembly has appropriated funds for infrastructure projects in Senate Bill 36 of the 2021 regular session of the Kentucky General Assembly and in House Bill 1 of the 2022 regular session of the Kentucky General Assembly for the Cleaner Water Program. And whereas the City of Jenkins grants the grantee, friends, has previously determined that it is in the public interest to acquire and construct certain facilities and improvements to the grantee's utility system, friends, project, friends, and whereas grantee desires funding from the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, friends, authority, friends, for the purpose of acquisitions and construction of the project. And whereas in order to obtain a supplemental grant from the Cleaner Water Program for the project and administered by the authority, the grantee is required to enter into a supplemental assistance agreement, friends, friends with the authority. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Jenkins as follows. Section 1, the grantee hereby accepts the grant award and approves the agreement but between the grantee and the authority to provide the additional funds to the grantee for the project. Section 2, that Todd Priest and any successor in title is hereby designated to be the grantee's authorized official for this project and is hereby directed and empowered by the grantee to execute the agreement, relate documents and agreements to otherwise act on behalf of the grantee to effect such grant award and to engage a qualified project administrator. Section 3, that the grantee hereby agrees and commits to include by amendment to to its annual budget and audit process and receipts and expenditures of the funds, subject to the agreement up to and including the date of project closing. Section 4, that this resolution shall take effect at the earliest time provided by law adopted by blank, City of Jenkins, authorized city clerk.
Now, what number are we on now?
We just passed the procurement ones.
That'll be 5513.
We still got 11 and 12, right?
Yeah, it's back here.
The procurement.
So I'm gonna get a motion.
No, we can't do that.
We didn't approve it.
Not yet.
That's what we were saying, we did.
I'm getting,
Skip ahead.
Yeah.
so it'd be the same as 8 and 9. I mean, 9 and 10. 11 and 12. Is that right?
Sorry.
11 and 12 will be the same as 9 and 10.
No, this is
No,
procurement
11 and
code.
12
That's
would be
different.
different.
No, they're different.
I make a motion to pass 5513.
I second.
Having a motion second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
I think it was,
The procurement one.
yeah, we picked up 15 earlier.
Pick up 4.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and read 15.
Yeah, we need 10, 11, and 15, all grouped together.
Yeah, 15 and,
15, 10, 11 are all the same, similar.
Right.
Already passed 14, so.
let me go ahead and pick up 15, just for the record. 50515, resolution, City of Jenkins adopting procurement code meeting the requirements for the Jenkins Grandview infrastructure project. Whereas the City of Jenkins presents the quote city and quote close friends through a community development block grant dash disaster recovery print CDBG-DR close friends. Department of Local Government has received grant agreement for the Jenkins Grandview infrastructure project, and whereas in order for the City of Jenkins to be in compliance with the grant agreement, further the competitive procurement and competition of all offerers for goods and services under the project, are therefore be it resolved this Monday of blank 2025 by the City of Jenkins and Mayor Todd Decrease is hereby authorized to sign this resolution and the City of Jenkins procurement standards. Be it further resolved that the City of Jenkins authorizes Mayor Todd Decrease and his/her successors entitled to act as a responsible officer in regard to the aforementioned standards adopted this Monday of 2025 attestation clerk, signature line mayor. And that would be 50515.
I'll make a motion to approve 5015.
15.
Whatever, I'm lost.
Have a motion, have a second. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Going once, going twice. Have a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye. We're gonna hear the same information several times.
I make a motion to pass
11.
resolution 5511.
I'll second.
That's one of the same.
Yeah.
There's one for the wastewater treatment plant.
Those 10.
That's actually the one he read. That's 5515.
We need 12.
Yeah.
12 needs a
We're not
motion.
committed to one.
Need a motion for 12?
I'll make a motion for 12.
I'll second.
You're on the topic of procurement code, and it's the same for all three projects.
Yeah, so that no.
All right, 5512.
That's where I got.
That's the road.
Got a motion and a second?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I got lost.
So we're down to 16.
16. Right?
Yeah.
Now it's the budget.
I feel like I'm in math class all over.
There'll be a quiz after this.
Can you read the quiz to me?
I'm copying off Mayor.
All right, ready? We have the next series are resolutions concerning amendments to the budget because of these projects. And so that will be 5516, 5517, and 5518. City of Jenkins, and they give this will be in the form of an ordinance, 262-B, an ordinance relating to the amendment of the budget for the City of Jenkins for fiscal year 2024-2025, whereas Chapter 94A requires that each municipality accept a budget for each fiscal year, and whereas the City of Jenkins, Letcher County, Kentucky has previously adopted a budget for fiscal year 2024-2025 as a proposed plan for raising and spending money for specific programs, functions, activities, or objectives during the fiscal year so as to provide for efficient financial administration. And whereas the City of Jenkins has received a community development block grant, CDBG closed grants in the amount of $1,474,063 in connection with the Jenkins wastewater treatment plant improvement. And whereas the City of Jenkins desires to document said transfer and amend the 2024-2025 budget to show the inclusion of said funds into the budget and the expenditures of said funds from the budget. Now, be it ordained by the City of Jenkins, Letcher County, Kentucky, as follows. Section 1, the budget for the City of Jenkins for fiscal year 2024-25 is hereby amended to allow for the inclusion into the budget for the City of Jenkins of a $1,474,063 community development block grant received in connection with the Jenkins wastewater treatment plant improvements, Section 2, that the budget for the City of Jenkins for fiscal year 2024-2025 is hereby amended to allow for the expenditures of the aforementioned $1,474,063 in community development block grants for the use on the Jenkins water treatment plant improvements. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and upon publication. Enacted this plain day of blank 2025. Attestation, signature line mayor, and first reading will be 5-5, and second reading entry signed by, that should be the mayor, and then published.
Got a question about that one. The 5516 is what you read, 5517 is the same thing, but it also says ordinance 262B. Should that be a different ordinance?
Yes, it should be.
They're all gonna amend
But
the
they got
same
different-
budget, so when I put it in the budget, I put it as, because my last budget amendment was 262A. And when they do the second reading, and I give you a copy of the actual budget where I put it in there, we just listed them both as a D because they're all going into that one,
To the same change?
into the budget. I mean, I can change.
But they all got the same number, they want
No,
a different amount, right?
Yeah, the amount.
Yes, same, but
The amount.
two different amounts.
The amount will include all three amounts.
Yeah, I will give you the separate amounts when we're ready to vote on each one.
Okay. So that'll be the first reading for all three of these.
so we don't roll on those?
Does
Okay.
that got us through the resolution order? Now, along with all of this, and this is what I was talking about, what it takes to get to this notice of funding and be able to spend it is the thing we're doing. But we need council's approval to open new checking accounts for the revitalization and resiliency planning project for the Grandview utilities project and for the wastewater treatment plant improvement project. So we need a motion and second on that.
I'll make a motion.
All right, I have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
And just to give you a little reference as to why you have to have three, they do require that each grant have its own bank account. They do not like the mixing of those. So that's, just to give you and the public why you have to have those three.
Yeah.
They want it to be completely separated. That way there's no mixing of funds.
It's easier to keep up with it.
It is.
And not only does it not stay in the bank long, it stays in its own account. for a day or two, every how long, so. All right. Have we got a list of the surplus?
It's in there.
In the back.
Are all them up there?
All the two of them. But if we find them, we'll want to go ahead and surplus them too.
It's the four that police report.
I've been up there, them things have been vandalized bad.
Well, just come talk to the city if they want to.
Well,
Interested in it?
From the industrial side.
Huh?
It's terrible.
now hold on, let's get this straight. Is this minus the two?
Right.
All right, this is the ones we actually have control of.
As of tonight.
There's cameras and trackers on them, so let's make sure. Anyway, no, I'd ask that we surplus these campers. They were used for as helping support volunteers shortly after the flood, and especially when there's like couples come in with these mission groups. But we've had some issues with them and had to go get 3 and bring them back. So I'd like to surplus them. And then when we surplus them, we have to do sealed bid or an auction. And the auction can be like gov deals, which is what most of them do. So what we'll probably do is try to get them on gov deals, see how that turns out, do a couple of them. And then later on, if that don't work out, we can do sealed bids if we get down to 2 or 3 of them. But no, nobody don't need to come see me and ask me, because we have no price. I can't sell them a camper. But if anybody is interested in them, we will publish where they're at and what government auction site is going to be taking care of that.
So it has to go through.
Yeah, it has to be surplus by you all first, which is what we're doing right now. And then once it's surplus, then it has to be either sealed bid or auctioned. And Gov Deals is a place that a lot of, the ones that went back through the state went through Gov Deals, so. And that's just a website that you can sign up on, and sort of like eBay. So I entertain a motion to approve the surplus of these campers.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, having a motion second, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, same sign. But stay tuned, we'll have it on Facebook wherever they can do that and be able to bid on them, and we'll get these lined out, so. All right, what do we got next? Cheerleading roadblock.
No conflicts.
No conflicts. Entertain a motion to approve the Jenkins Middle School cheerleading program.
I'll second.
All right, having a motion second, all opposed say aye. Any opposed, same sign. While the council's thinking if we got anything, I've got to go back and find the text here. We had one fireman receive their firefighter 1 and one received firefighter 2. So, Jake Muncie has received his firefighter 1 certification, and Joey Hartsfield has now got his firefighter 2 certification. And Joey comes through the junior firefighter program, and that gives them a chance to get a lot of hours up. And then once they finally turn 18 and complete their hours, they can. And I don't know if everybody understands, there's a 400-hour program and a 200-hour program. And to reach those levels, you have to train that much on certain things, and it's just not ever, it's a lot of different things to be able just to get to be a volunteer firefighter. So I would like to, recognize them tonight, and we're going to work on maybe doing some certificates later to recognize them formally, so. Council got anything?
Yeah, Todd, I wanted to mention the Mountain Comp is going to be having a mobile health clinic in Jenkins in the city park every first Thursday, every month on the first Thursday.
They were here last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Every month on the first Thursday, they're going to have the mobile, and that you can, you'll have a provider there, they can do labs, and no x-ray, they can't do x-ray, but they can do full care, immunizations,
Okay.
So I just wanted to mention that because they'll have more publicity about it, but I wanted to mention because it was our park. They're going to be throughout the county at different locations, different days, but ours will be the first Thursday of each month.
Ready?
Is there
Anybody?
a time frame on like a pothole?
That they've been patching, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about Road 101. Well, years ago, when we got a lot of co-severance money, we could put 30% of co-severance money into account, we could build up $100 some thousand dollars. That's back when blacktop was $60 a ton. Now, with what we get in, we still put 30% of co-severance money into the road fund on top of the road fund money that we get, which we got $40 some thousand dollars this year. And that don't go far, but we try. But now the patching part of it, we had the floods, and we, about 3 weeks ago, unplugged the last culvert and actually shaped the stream trying to get it all cleaned up. So they got back on it. They're actually blowing the hose out, treating it with something at the bottom of it, and then packing it in with a compactor to make a good repair. So they'll start seeing some improvements of that. And then in between all that, we had 3 sewer taps, 2 water taps, particularly death for people that's moving to town and requiring taps. But that's got us back to I was talking about there's 2 on the outside crew and 2 on the other crew. Of course, they're working together. Whatever needs to be done, they're throwing in and getting it done. But they actually made a little headway Thursday and Friday last week of getting some hose patched. So just let April or somebody here know that you've got one, and we'll get it on the list. And we try to work our way out of one area instead of jumping from one end of town to the other, go in and actually clean the ditches and actually get something done and work our way out, not bounce around. But yeah, that's happening. So, blacktop, the best quote I've got lately is $200 a ton. Last time we was paying $250 and $350 last year. But we're going to be able to probably purchase under the state contract for blacktop and then hire somebody to actually put it down. So we'll be able to go a little bit farther with it that way. So it is. Well, everything's went up. I mean, it's just everything.
Concrete works.
Yeah. But overall, I feel like we're doing a good job to be able to provide and do what we're doing. I want to thank our employees, Opie and Vicky, and the ones that's been there. Whatever you ask them to do, they do it. And like I said, they're coming in on Saturdays and doing maintenance and trying to keep the equipment going so we can hit it hard the next week. And they've done a good job, and I appreciate them. And the office staff and everybody that takes the calls and feels the frustration that some people sort of come in with, and I understand that. But we are doing the best we can, and we are going to work on the playground equipment. I'm meeting the reporter and the lady with the petition, Michelle, next week to do an interview, and we're going to work hard on getting this last land water closed out so we can apply for another one and be able to get it. But we want to look at what everybody would like to have, what kind of equipment, century pieces, and how that part needs to be laid out and what it looks like. So.
And we have Harley, one of the guys we hired from the academy. So
yeah, today was his first day at the academy.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So he did online classes for 4 weeks, and he had a week off, but he actually had to report to the academy today.
I appreciate all the officers that are stepping in and trying to help us.
We have 3 part-time right now. It's helping a whole lot with coverage. So we're getting there, and we've got a whole lot to do. So be patient. Be looking out for new announcements. Should be another one coming soon. So. Whole lot to go on. Like I said, we've rebuilt the water system, and we're working on the stormwater system. We hope to get all that started soon with stormwater engineers coming in looking at that type of stuff. And then the headwaters people is excited. We've got the stream gauges, so once we do the stormwater piece, we'll be able to take those stream gauges and show data on what we did and how much it affects it, what it looks like. So we'll be able to back up what we've done and apply for more money after that. So. That's it, I think. So I'd entertain that final motion.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, Justin, go
Got a
ahead.
question. Do we do like a flush through our water system, like flushing hydrants to help clear up the water? This is my water in my bathtub over the past month, 2 or 3 different spells. And I really hate to back my 2-year-old daughter.
Well, I'd say, did you call anybody when it happened? Because we can.
Well, I gave it time to clear up, and it wouldn't clear up. And it has been fine. It'll be fine for a week. And say we go a weekend, we're gone, come back, gonna take a bath, we'll get a big burst of dirty, like muddy water. It's so bad when we ran a whole bathtub of water, and then we realized, hey, that's pretty dirty. We're not putting her in there. We drained it out, and then you got to take and you can sweep like sand and dirt out of the tub.
Okay.
Where do they live?
Is it at the, you at the end?
Rocky Hall, yeah.
Well, I think one of the main things is, your road goes uphill, the water line's uphill, and my meter is like 3, 4 foot lower than the main water line. So any water going through there, all the debris is gonna go to the lowest spot. I mean, all your sediments going to. So I'm getting all the sediment where other people in Rocky Holler's not.
Okay.
Because I've inquired other people, just ask, hey, is your water dirty? And I guess I'm the only one on Rocky Holler knows
Well,
it's not a problem.
we've got one in Dunham like that. Every now and then it shows up dirty, so we go up and flush the hydrant on the main end up there. So
Right.
just let me know and we'll get open, come down, flush it.
Well,
Just
that
see
one
it.
was yesterday. So,
Okay.
One suggestion, my daughter had a similar issue, and they didn't complain to the city, they just went to put a particular filter, mainline filter in. It's not very expensive, and it's not had a problem since.
Put
But
it
they've
on the
had-
outside?
where the water comes in, they just put a big cartridge filter.
Oh, okay. But it's on the outside of the meter?
No,
It's not?
no, it's in the house,
That's what I'm talking about, inside the house after the water goes through the meter.
after it goes to the meter,
Yeah.
yeah. And it catches all that stuff, because when they flush, no matter what, or, there's other conditions that will release that dirt, come down through, and if you just happen to turn it on when that dirt's going by, it'll go into your house. So it can happen to anybody,
right.
but, and it can happen anywhere, it's not just Jenkins. It's,
Oh,
happens in
yeah.
Lexington, my brother worked for the Lexington City for 20 years.
Yeah.
It happens everywhere.
If we have a fire or something.
But that's one solution for you personally, is to
Well, I just
eliminate.
wondered, because I've been here, 5 years now, that's the first time I've seen it, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens to everybody occasionally.
It depends on where it shows up at, so. But anyway, let us know, we'll try to flush it and see. But now sometimes when we flush it, that turns it loose
Wakes it
on
up.
other people, so. Every quarter, we do a quarterly flushing plan, quarterly division of water, but that also stirs stuff up. But good thing about it is, it's got chlorine,
Right.
it don't look good, but it's safe, so,
You wouldn't want to drink it, but it's probably not going to
yeah,
hurt the back.
but yeah, just let me know, we'll get it done. All right, entertain that motion.
Make that motion.
Second.
Second, all those in favor say bye.
Bye.
Thank you.